or some by phone, or some by our new tele-town hall format. We do want to hear from you about these new ways of connecting. So please let us know, as we're trying our best to work together to ensure that individuals who are blind, visually impaired, and deafblind are provided with accessible programs and communication. We recognize the challenges to meeting virtually during this ongoing pandemic. And in the future, when it is safe to do so, we hope to resume meeting in person with all of you, which we most certainly will, but we want to make sure everybody is safe. So spring is coming, the vaccines are coming, the Red Sox won last night. We're optimistic here at MCB, so thank you again for joining us. If you know somebody who is unable to join and they would like to, we are recording today's event, as Carla indicated. We'll share that after on our website, email, and through our counselors. If you'd like to find out more, please contact us by phone, by email, whatever works for you, a web form, whatever works for you. We can add you to our list if you want to be. We are not going to spam you. We're only going to add and give you communications if you opt in. So please, if you're interested, do that. Although COVID-19 is still with us, we are optimistic for spring. Of course, thanks to the resilience of you all, our community, and our team, we've continued to deliver our services across the Commonwealth. We very much appreciate your flexibility, that of our team. And again, when it is safe to get back into homes and the community, we're going to be doing that. So we already have started formulating plans, more to come on that. Since we pivoted to virtual service delivery in March of 2020, MCB has reached out in a variety of new ways. We've kept our traditional ways going, but we've also now added social media, these tele-town hall and Zoom formats. We've had 5 virtual stakeholder meetings with almost 65 different partner organizations who serve our community and share our community vision for our community consumers. We've had 4 virtual town hall events. This is the 5th one, actually. We've had our first virtual open house in December, thanks to Region 3. We've had our virtual town hall for the deaf-blind community, which we're going to be doing more of those as well. We've launched our first PSA campaign, What's Your Vision?, featuring individuals from our community during National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And soon you will be hearing and seeing, and those ads are going to be running on radio and TV and in other places. So stay tuned for those as well. As I said, we've enhanced and increased our social media presence. We now have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, vlogs, YouTube, all in an effort to try to bring more people into our community. We've collected and shared success stories from our community, and shout out to all of those consumers that have participated, and thank you for sharing your great stories. If you know of a great story or you want to participate, please just let us know, and Carla will be sure to follow up with you, as we're always looking for new and great stories going on with our consumers. We've had bi-weekly music events for children and families via Zoom. We've had bi-monthly independent living hour events via Zoom, thanks to our VRT team. We've had bi-weekly all-staff calls for our agency to keep our counselors connected. We have coffee with the commissioner every Friday morning. We launched MCB Career Views, a podcast featuring strategies for obtaining employment and stories from individuals in a variety of careers, as well as insights from our staff, employers, on all types of things, from interviewing and resumes to hiring and much more. You can find those on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or visiting our website. Additionally, MCB has worked with TIC and main network to share PSAs and participate in live low vision support groups with our orientation and mobility team and some of the announcements around COVID. Our O&M team was the first unit at MCB to resume in-person training. We asked for and received a waiver on an emergency basis in accordance with state safety guidance to provide these vital services. And we continued to deliver mobility and accessibility tools to individuals who needed them, including canes, as well as assistive technology. We had White Cane Awareness Day, which was typically held at the State House, but we did it virtually, and we had about 150 people attended that event. I'm sure many of you here today, so thank you for participating. Our low vision support groups continued to meet virtually throughout the Commonwealth. We did that by conference calls, Zoom, and really any method of communication that works for the consumers. We did this to try to maintain communication, share information, and continue to provide each other the much needed support that those groups bring. Thank you for everybody who participates. We implemented CARES Act funding for isolated people in order to obtain Alexa devices and video magnifiers and other assistive technology. We provided funding to the New England College of Optometry to host the first resident in low vision rehabilitation, an optometrist. And that's really the first of its kind in the country. And we're doing that because we recognize that there are challenges for people to get to low vision appointments outside of the major metropolitan areas. So thanks to NECO for partnering on us with that. We're going to be doing it again this year, we're pleased to say. We've kept our vocational rehabilitation programs going strong despite the challenging employment environment. This includes our MCB internship program. Our annual job fair continued virtually with successful placements and interviews by many of our consumers and employer partners. So thank you to everybody who's participating. Hiring is still going on. If you're interested in work, please let your counselor know. We conducted soft skills training, typically held in person, but we did that online in regional environments. And we did those virtually to reach consumers and provide continued education. We also recognized our Employer of the Year award. We gave it to Always Health Partners for the great job that they're doing at Mass General Brigham as they hired 2 of our consumers during the COVID-19 pandemic. So thank you to all of our employer partners out there. We hosted 2 webinars for employers with presentations from our orientation and mobility team, our assistive technology team, to show employers how MCB can help build an inclusive workforce and how many great candidates we have for them. We launched our employer challenge, asking employers to do one more thing and create opportunities for people with disabilities in the workplace. That continues to go well. Our assistive technology team provided safe doorstep delivery of software and devices, screen readers, to ensure that individuals are staying connected during COVID-19. Our AT team helped many seniors, both in individual settings, group settings, nursing facilities, to how to use these devices remotely. So connecting Alexas and having them being able to interact has proven to be very important to keep independence and self-determination during these challenging pandemic times. We did 24, and I'm not going to name them all, but 24 different reallotment projects, all designed to get people employment, our consumers employment. Additionally, a little later in the meeting, you'll learn more about improvements made by our central registry team to make our registration process more efficient for eye care providers and consumers in order to expedite service and delivery for our community. I think you can see that we've done quite a bit, and that's only a partial list. So I'm very proud of our team, our counselors, and everybody who works at MCB on the hard work that we've been doing. It's been challenging, and thank you all of our consumers and community for sticking with us during these challenging times. We're proud of what we've been able to accomplish during the pandemic, and know that challenges present us with opportunities to learn even further while we adapt and grow together. We thank you. It hasn't been perfect, but just know that we try, and we can only make it better if we hear from you. So please communicate with us so we can get better. We are there to serve you. MCB will continue to deliver our shared mission, partner with our community stakeholders to ensure access to services for individuals with disabilities with the goal of independence, self-determination, and community success. Thank you. Many of you have shared questions about vaccine access as the phases of eligibility evolve in Massachusetts. I promise you that we're working closely with the COVID-19 Command Center to share your inquiries, offer suggestions, and refine the process. We will continue to do our best to keep you informed, and we're in partnership with many of our stakeholders, such as MABV, who's providing volunteer transportation to many of these appointments. Thank you. And many of our counselors have also been assisting individuals with appointment registrations. Our assistive technology team has been reviewing the mass.gov and the VAX websites and platforms for screen reader accessibility. Our orientation and mobility team has contributed to the training of vaccination site workers, offering assisted guide and sighted guide. We're very hopeful that vaccines will continue to become more widely available and accessible for our entire community. If you have questions, please reach out. We can only be of assistance if we know about it, so please let us know and we will try our best for you. As many of you know, the vast majority of MCB services are provided in the community, including homes, schools, and group facilities, with really no services or virtually no services provided at our MCB offices. As a result, and given the overall effectiveness of our virtual service delivery, MCB determined that we would consolidate our physical space footprint, which resulted in office closures in New Bedford and Worcester in January. Just to be clear, MCB has not reduced our staff. We don't plan to reduce our staff. We're not reducing our services. We don't plan to reduce our services. Our commitment to our community remains strong. MCB staff who previously reported to offices will now have access to touchdown workspaces in state-leased office buildings in Worcester and New Bedford. Working with the community, we've arrived at this as a solution. These spaces will be used to securely store adaptive equipment for consumers and to meet with individuals outside of their homes or other community locations if and when the need arises. When in-person meetings resume following COVID-19 public health emergency, the use of the touchdown spaces will be determined on a case-by-case basis by counselors, agency management, and individuals in the regions. Again, we ask for your input here. We're trying our best. We think this is the best thing for our community. As the state embarks on a long-term initiative around the future of work, MCB will continue to assess our office footprint to ensure that it enables continuous service delivery for and engagement with our whole community. We will continue to work with the unions and other stakeholders throughout this process. Our presence throughout the state is so important, and our regional directors lead the way with our regional teams to form the important local partnerships that we leverage every day. Share local resources, host local events, and really be your bridge to the programs and services at MCB. I believe in our regional directors, who you'll hear from shortly. We look forward to introducing them today and hearing the information that they all have to share. I'm so pleased with our team, our community, and just thankful for everybody for joining here today, your continued input. Stay safe. We're always here to answer questions, so please, anybody can contact me at any time. 781-789-4580 is my personal cell phone. Of course, you can reach out and call MCB, leave us a message. which we've revised our phone system in an effort to better communicate with you all because we have had increased call volume. So we're trying our best. Please let us know how we can serve you. Thank you again for joining us. And with that, it's an honor to introduce our Deputy Commissioner, John Oliveira. John?
Thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon, everyone. And as Commissioner mentioned, we are looking at our call volume coming in. And be sure, if you are speaking with your counselor, to get their phone number. All our counselors have personal cell phones. You can reach them directly. And so be sure to get that number from them, and they are providing those numbers to you. But as we transition to that, we look forward to getting those numbers out there. So the best way to reach your counselor is to call them directly on their agency cell phone. And this afternoon, I will be speaking briefly about the overview of our agency. Some of you who are fairly new to our services, it's a good little tutorial, and others who have been around, it's a good refresher to understand how MCB delivers services to our consumers. So MCB is set up in 6 regional geographic areas, and each of those areas is headed up by a regional director. So you may ask, what does a director do? Well, a director in the region is involved in planning for the budgets and involved in hiring staff, setting up goals and standards. They do a lot of community outreach. They establish partnerships with different businesses and different entities in the community. They do lots of interagency work, establish our relationship with other agencies so that when you are working with us and you have an issue, and that it may be that that issue is being handled by another agency. So we have a relationship and we can call that agency and work with you as a shared consumer and collectively work on that problem together. The regional director also serves on many agency work groups, and obviously they oversee the regional staff. And you may or may not talk to the regional director very often because they're doing all those duties as I described. But they are there, they're overseeing the staff. They see many of your cases. They make your case assignments when you first come into the agency as a new registrant. And they are constantly meeting with their supervisors or in each discipline in the unit to get updates and to watch what's going on regarding your case. So if you ever are not able to reach your VR counselor and you cannot reach the VR supervisor, you always can also try to reach your regional director, and they'll definitely help resolve the issue. So the region is comprised of 3 units that deliver services directly to you and a support staff. So the region provides our consumers vocational rehabilitation services. Those are delivered to you by vocational counselors, and they are your first line of contact with the agency when your case is opened and you're working with MCB to achieve your employment goal. The counselors are specifically working with you to get to an employment outcome. The vocational rehabilitation unit at MCB is all about work. The grant that we get from the Rehabilitation Service Administration is designed and is given to us so that we can return folks to work, help train folks to go to work, help retain jobs for those who are employed and have started losing their vision or started having vision issues. We're there to help your employer, to help the staff person get any additional assistive technology training or any special type of training to make sure that they keep that job. That is the goal. We want all of you, as many of you as possible, to remain working if at all possible. That's a great opportunity for you to keep working, and it's a great victory for us when we're able to keep our blind consumers who are able to work to continue to work and support their own family and allow them to do different things that they like to do. So the second unit that's part of the region is your social rehabilitation services unit. And in that unit, you have counselors that work with majority of the folks are seniors, but there are other folks who are younger, who are going through certain challenges in life. that are not looking for work at this time. So MCB can also serve those individuals. And we have social workers that work closely with you, and they will help you straighten out any issues you might having. If you're losing your vision, they will, if it's new to you, they will help you get to all the resources that we have available to help you stay independent in your community. That's the goal of that unit, to keep you independent and to keep you participating and being part of the community that you live in. And if at some point, if I've noticed that a good number of individuals are coming into those regions, into that unit, that are not able to work at that time. But if your challenges resolve and you get things squared away, and all of a sudden you decide you want to go to work, then that unit is capable of making a referral to our vocational unit, meeting with the vocational counselor, providing some additional information, and you can also work with the vocational unit. So it's not just because you start on the social rehab unit and you are there just to resolve those particular issues and make sure you maintain your independence. And if challenges ever work out and you're then interested in seeking employment, we're here to help you with that, and your social worker will certainly move you to the vocational rehabilitation unit. Also in our social rehab unit are our children's workers. They provide services for children from birth to the age of 13. So when they turn 14, there's a meeting that occurs within the region with the supervisor, sometimes with the director involved also, and they discuss that particular case of that child turning 14. And if they are appropriate to receive vocational rehabilitation service, the transition is made and the vocational counselor will continue to work. And if they are not appropriate, then transition is made to continue to deliver social rehab services via other sources at the agency. And our SR unit in some cases can help. Our social workers that work with folks who are interested just in social rehab. In other cases, if they have other situations going on, our DeafBlind extended supports might be able to assist, but we will continue to work with those individuals and maintain whatever services they need throughout the agency. And then also within the region is the rehabilitation teachers. Vision rehab therapists is the newer term, but they are there to provide services to both vocational rehabilitation clients and social rehab clients. And they will work with either of the clients to help meet their goals. And they come out to your home, deliver the services, deliver the training you need at home, and help you get to the goals that you need to get to. Those folks have been doing an outstanding job, as all of our service staff have been doing a great job working remotely and providing a lot of different counseling and skills training and different services through remote. But they are all looking forward to going back into the community and coming to see you in your home or whatever environmental location works well for you to meet with our staff. I receive probably requests or inquiries 2 or 3 times a week about when can we go back and see consumers. And as Commissioner said, we are planning to do that as soon as it's safe for everyone and we've received the proper instructions from Office of Health and Human Services. We will be back in the community, back in your homes, and you'll get the same services that you were receiving before COVID hit us. So each region has a support service staff, which provides administrative support to the regional director, also provides accommodation support to any staff that need accommodations. So that person is very critical and does a great job at, again, keeping our fiscal system starting in moving the bills forward to our fiscal unit so they can be processed, and they're very essential to the functioning of the region. And as far as additional services outside of the region, within MCB, we have the assistive technology unit, which you've heard mentioned before, and they're doing a great job, and they support clients both on the vocational side and on the social rehab side, and our orientation and mobility unit, which also supports consumers on our vocational and social rehab side. So that's basically the structure, how your services are delivered to you. Everything starts with your case manager, which would be your vocational counselor or your social rehab worker or your children's service worker. And then all those rehab teaching, AT and mobility comes in based on referrals coming from those workers. So each of these regions, I said, you may not see the directors too much, but we're going to introduce them to you today so that they can give you a little flavor of what they do and about themselves in the region. So we number the regions here at MCB 1 through 6, and other folks, you refer to them as part of the state that they serve. So I will do probably both as I introduce the regional directors here today. So first up will be our Region 1, or our Western Massachusetts director, Nathan Scrocky. Nathan assumed the role MCB Regional Director in 2018, and he has been in leadership positions in and around state government for approximately 20 years. He headed up the 2 offices at the Department of Transitional Assistance in Western Mass before he joined MCB. While at DTA, he received the Manuel Carballo Award and also received a Performance Recognition Award for his work following the Western Massachusetts tornado that occurred in 2011. That recognition came from his part regarding the disaster supplemental nutrition assistance program team that they did great work to make sure that folks were able to obtain some groceries and food throughout that whole situation. I remember that tornado and was quite surprised at the level of destruction that occurred back in 2011. So now we'll introduce you to Nate Scrocky for a few words. Here you go, Nate.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. In Region 1, we have 14 staff providing vocational and social rehabilitation, children's assistive technology, rehabilitation teaching, and orientation and mobility services. We cover 101 cities and towns in Western Massachusetts across Berkshire, Hampshire, Franklin, and Hampden counties. So for those of you attending from Region 1, a special welcome to you today. Region 1 supports MCB's mission by facilitating access to a statewide network of programs, trainings, and education while delivering local practices that meet the unique challenges that we have here in Western Massachusetts. We have some annual events out here in Region 1. We have our annual picnic, which will be which takes place at Look Park each year for our children and their families. This year, that's going to be taking place on August 20th, and you'll be receiving information about that soon. We also have the Halloween hoopla that we have at the Basketball Hall of Fame. This provides a safe place for our children to come trick or treat and do some fun things at the Basketball Hall of Fame. We have developed some tactile descriptive tours at the Springfield museums. Those will be happening as soon as we're able to be in person together soon. So hopefully this fall we'll be having those. We are also beginning a hiking program out here in Region 1, which we'll be looking at places like Mount Greylock, Mount Tom, Windsor State Forest, and the Greylock Glen. So if you're interested in that, you can contact your counselor or contact me directly, and we can sign you up for that program when it starts in the fall. I will be giving out my cell phone number at the end so that everyone will have that so they can contact me as well. We do a number of senior center education presentations. We do in-service trainings with local partners. Some of our partners out here in Western Massachusetts include the Basketball Hall of Fame, Springfield Museums, the Springfield Rotary Club, local Lions clubs out here in Western Massachusetts, and local colleges. We have a number of support groups out here in Western Massachusetts. To name a couple, the Visionary Club in Springfield and the Berkshire Benevolence Association for the Blind, which is based out in the Berkshires. And if anybody's interested in some of these support groups, please let us know and we can connect you to them. And that's all I have for now. So I'm going to pass it back to John so you can meet the next regional director, and thank you for everyone for coming. And I just want to leave my cell phone number is 872-5121. And again, my name is Nathan Scrocky, Region 1 MCB. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nate. And a lot of great things and different activities going on in Western Massachusetts. And we'll move on to Central Massachusetts, where Mervyn Campbell is our regional director. And Mervyn joined MCB in 2012 as a vocational rehabilitation counselor in our Boston office. He was instrumental in coordinating a job club that was happening in that region for some time. And then he transferred out to Central Mass to be a vocational counselor there. And in 2018, he was promoted to vocational supervisor in our New Bedford office, and then was promoted to regional director in 2019. A lot of dates there. And Reverend has been working very hard to keep Central Mass up and running and continuing to partner with our folks there. So now, Mervyn, over to you.
Alt-V, video now stopped.
Thanks, John, and good afternoon to everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. Here in Region 2, we cover the entire Worcester County and part of the Middlesex County. So those folks who are from this region, I welcome you. And due to the COVID-19, a number of our services were suspended, but we continue to keep in touch with our service providers. One of the things I must highlight is the Children Workers Department, who continuously is striving to make sure that all the consumers in that region are getting their needs met and to develop a social network. We have what we call the music. We have a music section, music and a musical event that took place in December and one that is ongoing right now. And we are looking forward to other things for the children's services. We are currently working with a group called Outreach, which is going to involve a number of our consumers, and hopefully we will be opening it up to the adults. And this is going to take place, is due to take place very soon. It's part of the beautification process of Worcester County, the downtown region and other areas around the different parks. And we are looking forward to that, and hopefully that we will be able to extend it to other regions as well. Within that sphere as well, we will be doing a walk downtown Boston to the park that is being beautified right now. So hopefully we get a lot of involvement from more of the MCB consumers. In this region also, well, I wear two hats in this region. One as the regional director and the other as the voc rehab supervisor. And in the voc rehab department, I have two counselors, two VRC counselors, and an intern who is doing an excellent job right now. And they're continuing to reach out to the consumers, communicating with them in regards to college, in regards to work, and whatever their career path or educational path is. We are still working with them, along with the AT department or the Assistive Technology department, who is tirelessly working with us in evaluating our consumers and getting them the necessary devices they need to be successful. We also have a social rehab department that works tirelessly with the elderly. And this department also does in-service training with a number of the elderly or the senior consumers or the senior buildings in the area. This is really, it's very informative and very welcoming to the for the senior officer, the elder department here in Worcester, thanks to the SR department, who continues to tirelessly reach out to these individuals We also have the rehab teachers that, or I should say rehab teacher, who is always on the go and who has never given up in reaching out to her consumers. As a matter of fact, there isn't a day that she doesn't say she waits for the day, is longing for the day to go back out to be in person with her consumers. And I must say kudos to her in her tireless effort to reach out to them. Basically, all my staff is doing great in reaching out to that. I always hear from them. Must give kudos to my ADA as well, who keep me busy as well, and I keep her very busy as well with a lot of the things that I need to get done. I must say that I do appreciate her and appreciate all my staff as well. We are currently working on getting an event up and going with the MCPHS, that's the Massachusetts College of Pharmaceutical and Health Sciences. We started a program with them, but we had to put it on hold for a while. And but we are starting it up again. Also, I've just been approached by the Accessibility Advisory Committee here in Worcester to be a part of that organization and getting things done up and running for the individuals we serve here in the region, and also working alongside with UMass, MCPHS with the COVID-19 in getting all of our consumers out and getting them vaccinated, and even working and getting them vaccinated, those who are in home and who cannot leave their home to get vaccinated as well. And the staff has been very helpful as well with that. Again, I must say thank you to my staff and for everyone attending today. Thank you. Over to you, John.
Thank you so much, Mervyn, and appreciate all the work that folks are doing out in Central Mass. And so the next region we'll be discussing, talking about or introducing you to, will be our regional director of our Northeast region, Thelma Williams. Thelma has been the Northeast Regional Director since 2008. She has held various positions, one of them as a Disability Program Navigator for the South Coast Investment Board for 5 years. She was there, and then she worked as a manager for the Brookline Housing Authority for 3 years, and then she also worked as a manager at DMH and Vinfin Corporation for 12 years. In 2020, Thelma was the recipient of the Paul Salucci Leadership and Mentorship Award at state government. And we were very proud to attend the ceremony that was done via Zoom. All these things are done via Zoom, things we've never have done before and would have been doing in person, as we've all had to move to that platform. And we all were proud to attend that ceremony as Thelma was recognized by our agency and many other agencies throughout the state. She has also co-authored an article in a publication called the Psychiatric Rehabilitation Journal. Some of you who are social workers and may be quite familiar with that. And she's also a published poet. And so it's great to know that, Thelma. I didn't realize that about you from what this is a new fact I've learned. So, and we've worked together for a long time. So she's also well respected by the agency, obviously, and by her team and in her community. So Thelma, over to you.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon and welcome. Again, I'm Thelma Williams, Regional Director for the Northeast area, also known as Region 3. Deputy Commissioner Oliveira has already explained the regional composition of all the regions across the state. However, I'd like to add that Region 3's service delivery area includes 51 cities and towns, and it extends as far north as the New Hampshire border. Another fact I'd like to offer is that my regional team's combined work experience reflects over 250 years of specialized services here at MCB. So at this time, I'd like to talk about a few regional highlights and give you the time frame. In 2013, a member of my team's social rehab team was awarded, along with a group of other MCB recipients, the Manuel Cabela Award for Excellence in Public Service for their efforts in coordinating the Mobile Eye Clinic. I am also the proud leader of a high-performance vocational rehab team who have embraced best practices to effectively strengthen MCB's relationship with the Mass Hire centers servicing visually impaired job seekers in the region. Our children's social worker continuously fosters a supportive relationship with families of children who are not only visually impaired, but also have a host of medically involved conditions. Among many other things, she acts as a strong community liaison for our consumers and their families, participates in monthly groups for parents of shared DPH clients and families, and also supports families via annual holiday assistance programs like Globe Center. I would be remiss if I did not mention the region's extraordinarily supportive administrative assistant and ADA specialist driver. We are very fortunate to have the two of them as part of our team. Recently, the team recruited a robust Regional Advisory Council, RAC, of 11 vested consumers. And I looked at the participants, and a few of you are on, so thanks for being here. Legally blind advocates and community partners. In 2012, the region and its RAC, the Regional Advisory Council, hosted its first brick and mortar regional open house at the Lowell Association for the Blind, where its executive director, Elizabeth Cannon, is not only a valuable MCB stakeholder, but also a dedicated 12-year member of the Regional Advisory Council. In 2020, the region, and again the RAC, held the first MCB Regional Virtual Open House, focusing on resilience in the disability community during COVID-19. In 2016, we had a regional health fair at the Terigian Senior Center in Peabody, where 50 flu shots were administered via DPH. At that time, the commissioner, who was head of our MCB, and our chief of staff also got flu shots. In 2015, we created NECOP, which stands for Northeast Collaborative Outreach Program. The brick and mortar open house and health fair are just two projects that resulted from NECOP. We are actively involved with 4 regional council on agings. We facilitated in-services in nursing homes, council on aging, prisons, and other partner agencies on MCB services, programs, and educational institutions. If it sounds like I'm bragging, I am, because I'm very proud of my team and all of the work that they've provided to the disability community, the blind community, and how we've worked effectively with all of you, partners, members of the RAC. I want to thank you for being here, and I too will give you my phone number. But before I do, I just want to give you a little example of some outreach that we do. It was not intended. A few days ago, I was at Walgreens, and I had someone walk up to me who thought I worked at Walgreens. And when she realized that I was not an employee, she said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "No, ma'am, can I help you?" And she said, "Well, I don't see well, and I can't read this." And one thing led to another. She started talking about, I wish there was a way I could get a magnifier, and I wish there was a way I could read my mail, and my doctor said I'm legally blind. She went on the whole conversation. I ended up being there with her for about 45 minutes to an hour, providing information to her about how she can connect with us. So as a result of that, I guess you could say I recruited another consumer, a happy consumer, to receive services from MCB. But that's what we do. That was not intentional. I could have walked away from this senior, but I felt she needed my assistance. So Region 4, she'll probably be reaching out to you soon because she is from your region. So again, I want to thank you all for being here. I look forward to working with you along with my staff. We are a real true team and we pride ourselves on being one. So my phone number is 857-248-2737. Again, that's 857-248-2737. And I thank you again. On to you, John.
Hold mute. Currently unmuted. Hold plus it.
Okay, so the host has to start my video because you stopped my video, so please do that when you have a chance, and please don't stop my audio or video,
Host has asked you to start.
because then I have to do
The
this,
code-host start my video button.
and I have to
Jason
find the
Allen has
button,
joined the member.
so it becomes an
Video
issue.
now start.
So, all right, so thank you so much, Thelma. I do appreciate that. And as Thelma said, she was bragging about her staff, and I think all of our directors would brag about their staff, and I brag about our staff every day. And we never know when we're doing outreach. Thelma goes to pick something at Walgreens, and all of a sudden, she's outreaching to someone and trying to help them out. So you never know when you're going to run into an MCB employee, and we're always on duty to do outreach. So the next region would be Region 4, the Metro West area of Boston that covers, and also some towns south of Boston. And recently, this region was headed by Alan White, who'd been a longtime employee and longtime manager here at MCB, but he retired. And so we are currently searching for a new director. So with us today, we have Molly O'Brien. She is a vocational rehabilitation supervisor and children's services supervisor in the region. And Molly has been working at MCB since 2020. And she comes to us from the Boston Public Health Commission, where she served in the Career Center there and was promoted to administer their housing and job development unit. Also, before moving to Boston, she worked in a variety of different workforce development positions and social services positions in New York City, the Big Apple. I'll have to get some stories about those days at the Big Apple from Molly. Molly holds a bachelor's degree in arts from Fordham and is currently working on getting her CRC here in Boston out of UMass. So I'll send it over to Molly.
Hi, everyone. So in Voc Rehab, we have consumers who are starting to get out and about and they're applying to jobs. Our consumers have also been participating in training at the Carroll Center, either remotely or in person. Our staff have been attending regional employment collaboratives, such as the Metro West Employment Collaborative and the South Shore Employment Collaborative. And we also, as staff in VR, have been attending and presenting at Mass Hire events with Mass Hire Metro North and the Metro West Southwest Mass Hire. And overall, you know, this has been an interesting time, a challenging time, but also, you know, a really great time where staff have really taken to the remote work. And in VR, we also hosted an intern this past year from UMass Boston, which has been great. Our pre-ETS programming, that's programming for 14-year-olds until they graduate high school. They transition to virtual programming, and our consumers are attending events. They've been partnering with the Polis Center ESP program and the Perkins Compass College Prep program. We have consumers involved in virtual activity with both of those agencies. And our staff in pre-ETS and in children's services have been attending all of the IEPs remotely this year. In children's services, we are also, we've been able to work with a new vendor, the Napa Center out of Waltham, which has been exciting because we've been able to provide services to more complex cases. And now I'm going to speak a little bit on behalf of our SR supervisor, Darren Black. I'm going to speak a little bit about the Social Rehabilitation Department. So the Social Rehabilitation Department has partnered with the Blinded Veterans Program, which is the BIS team, to place refurbished assistive technology devices with MCB consumers. The SR team has also collaborated with MABD's Vibrant program to connect Spanish-speaking consumers with assistive technology instruction in their native language, which is very important. And the staff has also networked with independent living centers to better coordinate services for MCB consumers, specifically with the Boston Center for Independent Living and the Metro West Center for Independent Living. And our SR department has also hosted some interns in both vision rehabilitation therapy and in social work. And overall, I just want to thank the staff as well, including our ADA specialist and our driver, who has just been instrumental in getting devices to Region 4 consumers. So thank you.
So I've lost Jaws. Could you guys hear me?
Yes, John.
Okay, very good. So, so we'll move on. Thank you, Molly. We'll go on to Region 5, and which is the southeastern Massachusetts, covers Cape Cod and the towns before you get Cape Cod, obviously, the Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. I remember visiting Martha's Vineyard, that's in Nantucket. That's the region I started in. And it was a very interesting region to work in, a lot of very interesting geography. And it was a great opportunity. So in this region, we have Chris Meitel, one of our newest directors. And he, before coming to MCB, he worked in a variety of positions, such as a manager of a shared living foster care program. He was sort of overseeing a lot of other different services, a lot of independent living services for preteens and teens. He also has been doing this type of human service work for about, he says 20, I wrote down 30 years, but I don't think, maybe it could be right. But he started very early. I think he was about 14 or 15 when he started out. But and he still wakes up every day and loves his job, and he's really enjoying working here at MCB. So Chris, we'll go over to you.
Thank you, John. If you moisturize a lot, then you can say you worked for 30 years in a place and not look like it. So I appreciate that. Chris Mattel, Region 5, welcome to this event. I know we're running a little behind, so I'm going to be kind of quick. But if anybody would like to speak to me directly who's in my region, my cell phone number is 617-823-5220. Region 5 has done a remarkable job. It's involved around COVID. Also, as the commissioner had mentioned, we had closed our office, but we haven't missed a beat. Our social rehab teachers are still very diligent in the community, bringing services to the overall MCB consumer. Our rehabilitation teachers have adapted to teaching through Zoom and other methods very creatively. Vocational is still finding people jobs, attending virtual job fairs, and being very proactive in that manner. Our children's social worker still involved in IEPs and bringing relief to families who have been suffering through COVID. And as a lot of people know, having children at home during this time has been very difficult. And then make that complicated with somebody who is blind with other deficits. She's been remarkable in that way. And then we also have our assistive technology person who has been teaching through Zoom with technology and other devices, and who was also blind as well. So she gives that other perspective. And all of our staff have worked very diligently within the South Shore to make sure we're bringing the same type service product that we'd always done before. It's an amazing crowd. It's an amazing group. I think that we have a lot more things to bring coming forward. We're very involved with our RAC, as you've heard before from other regions. So they're another voice to support the community. We're also trying to identify programs for pre-ETs, which is children who are 14 to 22, but might not be appropriate for vocational rehabs. We're working very closely with career centers. So moving forward, we can make that as an additional resource to people. And like John said, working with other community collaborations throughout. It's a pleasure to meet everybody. Thank you so much for having myself and everybody else here. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. John, back to you.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much. And appreciate all the work that you're doing out in Region 5 and your very strong, dedicated staff and all the work that they do for our consumers every day. So we'll move on to Region 6, our Boston office, and headed up by Yelena McPherson. And Yelena started out in Baltimore. That's where she's from, that area. And she served in Baltimore in a variety of different roles, and then decided to relocate to Boston. She has had jobs in the juvenile system. She was a counselor there for many years. Then she moved over to MRC and worked as a vocational rehabilitation counselor there for about 11 years. And then she moved over to MCB. For the past 9 years, she has served as our vocational rehabilitation supervisor and is obviously now our regional director for the Boston office. So Yelena, over to you.
Thank you, John, and good afternoon to everyone. The many years of service that MCB has provided over the years exemplifies an ongoing and consistent commitment to the MCB mission and includes ingenuity as demonstrated during the COVID-19 pandemic. The mission emphasizes the provision of the highest quality rehabilitation and social services to Massachusetts residents who are blind, leading to their independence and full community participation. And today, while practicing the CDC guidelines for social distancing, hand washing, and wearing a mask, this is accomplished with vigilance. During uncertain times, I am so grateful for the courageous commitment that the Region 6 team in Boston has shown over the past year. Not only has there been significant change in the way we do business, but the COVID-19 health threat has greatly impacted how we function at home, at work, and in the community. We have been blessed with the ability to adjust and be resilient. In March 2020, telework was initiated and the responsibility of providing remote services to consumers began. The safety and well-being of staff and every consumer on each caseload was confirmed. The team's response was phenomenal, and within a week, the team accounted for approximately 343 consumer contacts by cell phone and email. By the end of the first month, a total of 904 consumers had been contacted as staff continued to implement services remotely. These services included regular wellness checks, counseling and support, vocational counseling and guidance, and information and referrals. The heightened level of communication by telephone and email served to instill a sense of consumer hope and security for the future. While VR counselors provide regular counseling and guidance, consumers pursuing vocational goals for employment are eligible for MCB funding to defray the cost of tuition and fees at colleges and universities. Consumers attend UMass Boston, UMass Dartmouth, Regis College, Roxbury Community College, Bunker Hill Community College, Berkeley College of Music, and many more. Students are earning associate degrees, bachelor's, master's, and even law degrees. Consumers are also benefited from funding provided for low vision evaluations and follow-up exams that are administered by the New England College of Optometry, as we know, NECO. Independent living skills, employment transitions, computer and technology training is provided by the Carroll Center for the Blind and by Blind Inc. in Minnesota. In Boston, Our Space, Our Place continues to provide virtual or online workshops during the summer and after school for pre-employment transition youth who are enrolled in school. The employment outcomes of consumers in the region have been outstanding for those who either obtain, maintain, or regain integrated competitive employment. The VR team remotely review cases on a regular basis to explore needed services, options, and resources. Employers who offered Boston consumers opportunities to work this past year include Mass Eye and Ear, the Boston Public Health Commission, Boston University, and the Registry of Motor Vehicles, to name a few. While we celebrate the successes of those who get jobs, the social workers continue to embrace the needs of seniors and elders despite challenges of COVID-19. Community resources available, including volunteer services, support groups, are all provided remotely by Friendship Works and MABVI, the Massachusetts Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. In-person homemaker services are provided. And these services are provided in Boston by Abbey Road, Hope Restored, and the Caribbean Foundation. Prescription magnifiers and glasses are obtained from Boston University Eye Associates and Jocelyn Eye Clinic. Low vision devices and aids are in abundance at this time. VR counselors and social workers provide rehab teaching referrals for assessment when activities of daily living are challenged. The ADA specialist is the designated coordinator of independent living aids and devices and is available to make no contact deliveries and mailings to consumers' homes as needed. Children's services and transition services are implemented by the remote collaboration and communication of the children's social worker and vocational rehab counselors. These services are built on coordinating agency and community-based resources. Needs assessments at times result in funding for respite care and other family supports. Advocacy and counseling services are most beneficial during virtual IEP meetings as consumers and their parents cooperate with TVIs, or the Teachers of the Visually Impaired, and special education coordinators. The children's social worker has been invited to present at virtual in-service trainings at the Perkins Infant Toddler Program, while eye care providers in Boston have requested training for parent support groups. The impact of these heightened levels of virtual communication is ongoing and consistent. The creativity exhibited by the Region 6 team is commendable, and they were well-deserved recipients of the 2020 Commonwealth Citation for Outstanding Performance. So Region 6 of Greater Boston covers not only Greater Boston, but Chelsea, Winthrop, and Revere. And we are a team of 2 social workers, 2 rehab teachers, a children's social worker, our 2 VR counselors. We are fortunate to have a bilingual social worker as well as a bilingual rehab teacher, and we have our ADA specialist. So I can't tell you how much in words I appreciate the work and the diligence that they apply to what, quite frankly, I believe they truly enjoy and love what they do. So I thank you for being here today, and I will leave my phone number. The region I do have some plans for the future, and I'm not sure that time will allow me to just share that with you today, but I will give you my newly issued state mobile phone number, and that is 857-248-2332. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And so now we move on to our DeafBlind Extended Supports program, headed up by Leslie Baker Johnson. And Leslie just assumed this position in 2020. Prior to her position as director of this unit, she was a supervisor in the unit for 5 years. And she joined MCB as a counselor in 2008. She obtained a bachelor's degree in psychology from UMass and has an MBA from Johnson & Wales University. She held positions as a disability navigator for the Bristol County Workforce Investment Board for 4 years and worked as a vocational counselor and job developer for the May Institute for a couple of years. She is also an accomplished and well-respected in the deafblind community for her work that she's done there, and is known as an up-and-coming leader here at MCB, and her team respects her tremendously for the support she provides them and the experience she brings to the job. Leslie?
Thank you, John. And as John said, I'm the director of the DeafBlind Extended Supports Unit. We actually had our own town hall last week, and during the town hall, we showed a couple of clips from a movie called Feeling Through. And it's the first movie ever to have cast a deafblind actor. So I'm excited to get to show you these clips and give you a little information on them. So the film Feeling Through was written and directed by Doug Rowland. It was also executive produced by Marlee Matlin and in partnership with Helen Keller Services. To give you a little setup on the clip that we're about to see, it involves 2 characters, Tariq, who is a young man, is homeless, and a deafblind gentleman who is trying to find his bus route. So this clip that we're about to show you is their first meeting, and I will try to audio describe this as we play it. So it's very dark in the city.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Artie is showing a notebook
It's close.
where he's written the bus route that he's looking for. Tariq puts his backpack back on his shoulder and turning him in the direction of the bus stop, and is just kind of standing there awkwardly trying to figure out how to help the deafblind gentleman to the bus stop. Artie, the deafblind man, holds out his arm. Tariq is very unsure what to do. He takes Artie's arm and puts his hand on his shoulder and begins to lead him around the corner towards the bus stop. So that was a clip from the beginning of the movie where the 2 characters first meet. It's a really wonderful movie that I'm hoping you will all get the chance to watch the conclusion of and get a little emotional on it. And I think one of the wonderful things that Doug had said about this movie when he presented it to the DeafBlind Town Hall was that the initial misconception of this film is that it's about a sighted hearing young man helping a deafblind gentleman. And if you watch the film, you'll actually see that they help each other. So it's not a one-sided sighted hearing person helping a deafblind gentleman. They really help each other. So hopefully you'll all get a chance to watch it and enjoy it. And Doug is also up for an Oscar for this short film. So we're really rooting for him and hoping he wins that. And again, please watch the entire film. It's not super long, but I think you'll all enjoy it.
All right, this is Carla Kath, the Director of Communications at MCB. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you so much to our Deputy Commissioner and to all of the regional directors for sharing today. We do have the regional directors' email addresses and phone numbers, their new mobile phone numbers, to share with you after the meeting. And we know that all of you are anxious to get in touch and to connect with our team. We do have many questions here. Thank you again for submitting those via the chat feature. If you haven't done so already, please send one to myself, MCB Zoom host Carla Kath, MCB Zoom host Camilla Dragos. If you are joining via our new phone opt-in system, you can press 0 to ask a question and connect with one of our screeners. They will pass that along. But many of our questions here today are for our registry team regarding certificates of blindness, blindness IDs, how to find out if you are registered, how to get registered with MCB to receive services. And for those questions, to provide those answers, we have our Director of Policy and Strategy with us. Her name is Mary Otiato. And Mary, if you are here, please turn your video on and we'll let you share a little bit about the blindness registry and what we are doing at MCB to revamp our central registration.
Thank you, Carla, and good afternoon, everyone. So I am actually coming to you via the Virtual Blindness Registry. This is a Zoom room where you can call in or you can dial in and get answers in real time. And as the regional directors were speaking, I was able to get a few to see a few of the folks on the call, and you have visited the VBR. It was busy last month. We talked about COBs. People would call in to let us know about their need for certificates of blindness. And the wonderful thing about it is, for most of you, I was able to just print it out while you were on the call, and I put it in the mail later during the day, so you can have it right away. And I am touting VBR because if you have a question about getting registered, or if you've been registered, if you have seen your doctor and they have sent in your eye report, you can call through VBR. We'll go into the system and get you the information right away. At the same time, if you have seen the doctor and the doctor hasn't sent us the eye report so that we can get you registered, we can also find a way to maybe call the doctor together on VBR, or I can give you some information so that the doctor can reach us and we can get you registered. Please know that you may see your doctor today and the doctor says, I will send your eye report to Mass Commission for the Blind, but they actually have 30 days to send that report. So it's really important. So when the doctor tells you that I will be sending the report for you, call us, and then that way we can call the doctor and get the eye report. One of the issues we've been having is when you call us, leave a message, and then we try to call the doctor, sometimes the doctor is not able to release your information, which is a good thing. You don't want doctors your information out there for everybody. So it's really important sometimes for you to call the doctor, because You sign the release, it goes to you, and then you send it to us, and just time keeps going. So if you just call the doctor straight away and get that information, we can get you registered. I know some of you are waiting for your ID, MCB IDs, and beginning of March, we lost one of our staff members. She moved on to a different state, I have to say, and we've missed her dearly. But we are working on the IDs right now. We have a dedicated person who is actually just churning them out. I talked to them this morning, and we have now about 80 in the queue. I'm sure one of them is yours, but we are prioritizing those who are, which are just about to expire. And then we are going to be printing them according to the expiration date. So if it's about to expire, if it's already expired, you are in the front of the queue. If it's lost, you're in the front of the queue. And if it, depending on the date it expires as we go forward, you will be getting it as we go along. Certificates of blindness, we've sent a lot of them out this month, last month especially because of the tax abatement. And I have a few more that are going out. So we're doing the best we can. Visit VBR if you have called in the past 2 weeks and you haven't received your certificate, because maybe we're sending to the wrong address. We actually found that out a couple of times. We've sent the certificates of blindness, but they were going to a wrong account. And so we are saying we're sending it, you're saying you didn't receive it, but let's talk so that we make sure that we are all sending, we have the right information in our registry. And so the last thing I just want to say is we've worked in the last 2 years to get the registration process a lot smoother. We have electronic registration, and you as our consumers and you're our ambassadors, please tell your eye doctor or when you go, so that if the next person comes in, they will know that they can register them electronically. It's much faster, it's accurate. We still get some faxed eye reports. Then the problem is we have to get the eye report, we have to index it, takes time, and sometimes we get information wrong, which also results in more time. So if we can all get on to the electronic registration, that would make things so much easier. And I know there are more questions, but I will try to answer them maybe in paper, and we can send them out. And so with that, thank you so much, Carla.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. And again, thank you to everyone for submitting your questions for our registry team. I did also receive some questions for the commissioner. So Commissioner Darkangelo will be joining us. There you are, Commissioner.
Hello.
Commissioner, how are you? We do have a question here about the Uber Lyft program, as well as a question about vaccine access. So I'll leave that to you, and then we'll wrap up shortly for everyone here to talk about 2 of our Mass Challenge partnerships. Commissioner?
Terrific. Thanks, Carla. And so regarding the Uber Lyft program, I did reach out to the people who run that over at the MBTA, and they let me know that the MBTA added 2 more trips per month through July to all customers' Uber and Lyft balances. So if you're currently using the MBTA's Uber Lyft program, they're adding 2 trips per month through July. The goal was to ensure that everybody had enough trips to get to and from vaccine appointments and doctor's appointments and things like that. And also this will apply to any new signups. So any new signups will get the additional 2 trips through July. So if you have any further questions, please let us know. We'll try our best. Regarding the vaccines, we've really shout out to MABV, shout out to Lowell Association, shout out to so many groups that we've been working with to try to get transportation options for consumers. Additionally, to our staff, because our staff is also helping to facilitate, whether it's booking the appointment or making arrangements, we're trying to help with consumers as well. So if you know somebody who knows assistance, please let us know, and we will try our best to provide them resources, whether that be information or helping them sign up or the transportation piece. Additionally, orientation and mobility, our orientation and mobility department had worked with many of the Mass Vax sites and the people involved at the command center on things like sighted guide and orienting and moving around the vaccination sites. And then additionally, our assistive technology team worked to help make the website more accessible for screen readers. So we've tried the best we can to make it as accessible. It might not be perfect. If you do need assistance, let us know. Of course, you can use the services that are out there already, 211, dialing 211, or if you are on the internet, you can go to the website. There's quite a bit of information there. That's our website and the mass.gov/COVID website as well. So if you need further assistance, please let us know and we'll try our best to get it for you. Carla?
All right, thank you, Commissioner. I believe that we are running late on time, but we will continue to stay on afterwards to collect a few more questions from all of you. So if you do have additional questions, please put them in the chat. You can also send them to mcbinfo@mass.gov. And if you have joined us via our new phone opt-in notification system, press 0 and share your question with the screener. We will pass that along as well. We do have 2 exciting partners with us today, so we want to make sure to give them a few minutes to share about their work with MCB. We are part of the Mass Challenge Health Tech program. And Commissioner, would you like to come on with our first Mass Challenge partner, WhereWorks? And Keith Kirkland is with us from WhereWorks. Keith?
Sure. I'd be pleased to introduce Keith and a little bit of background. So we got affiliated with the Mass Challenge program last year, and actually some of our consumers have benefited from the devices we got from New Eyes, and we've worked with that company to really improve their devices and at the same time get our consumers the assistive technology. So that turned out to be such a good program, we decided to do it again. And then this year we've been paired up with 2 great organizations. The first one is WhereWorks, and then the other who we'll hear from after is DeafBlind. So WhereWorks, Keith, are you there? WhereWorks uses haptic technology. It's really cool. Haptic is that vibration. It's that movement that you can feel. And I think the thing that got us hooked was they had a person who was blind, who was a runner. They put the WhereWorks device on, and that person was able to run the New York Marathon. And I'm going to turn it over to Keith for more. Keith?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us and having us. We're really excited about our opportunity to work with the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. A little bit about us. My name is Keith Kirkland. I'm one of the co-founders at WhereWorks. And at WhereWorks, we build products and experiences that communicate information through touch. So our first product, WaveBand, is a wristband that gently guides a person to an end destination using only vibrating cues without the need for visuals or audio. And like Commissioner was saying, back in 2017, we helped the first person who was blind to run in the New York City Marathon without sighted assistance. We're currently partnering with MCB to launch a large-scale pilot program this summer to test the final version of the devices. And we expect to be in stores and ready to sell by October 1st. A little bit of good news I'll share since it just showed up today. We were actually selected for the Make It Awards, which is a competition between, sponsored by the New York Knicks and Squarespace. and we're one of 10 finalists. So we're actually going to be doing this super huge push to win $30,000 to order all the first components for the first 1,000 wavebands. So expect an email from us later today, and we'd love your support if you could help us on Twitter to kind of get the followings that we need to get this funding in place. And thank you.
All right, Keith, thanks so much. Now, Carla, are we going to see the video or are we going to WearWorks? I mean, to 4Blind.
Yes, let's go ahead and go to our 4Blind partners who are joining us.
Great.
From overseas. And then if anyone would like to stay on and watch those videos, we will show those as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Carla. So let me introduce Fedor and Anastasia. Are you there, Fedor and Anastasia? They are with 4Blind, and this is a device for geared towards people who are deafblind as a communication interface. And it essentially can have anybody using Braille within minutes. Fedor and Anastasia, take it away.
Thank you, David. So my name is Fyodor Belomoyev, and I'm a CEO of a blind company, and we creating device that opens unique opportunities at the school and university and expand the list of professionals available for blind and visual impaired and deafblind. And today we work with MCB and we show what we exactly created. This is a meta device for communication, deafblind people. So totally deafblind person can speak with anyone in any language and understand you if you're from other country. So I'm very glad to be here, and we need your support, and together we can achieve the real goals. And if you want to be a part of our activity, you are welcome. Become partners, advisors, I don't know, investors. And this is not just about investment. This is about investing in development of society, in a society of equal opportunities. There should be equality for all people. Inclusion is equality of accessibility. So I'm grateful to be here, inspired by the people who work in MCB and people who think and find new opportunities for their community. Thank you very much. Thank you for help us. And Anastasia, your turn.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very glad to be here, and I think that further said everything, and I just want to add some words. So thank you for this opportunity to share values of our company, which is better free accessibility and inclusivity, and also the opportunity to tell about technical solutions which contribute to the development of our society, where every person have equal access to basic things that all we have. And we very glad our partners, MCB, very glad and that we are partnering with them, and that we can make our social impact together. Thank you so much.
All right, many thanks to both Keith and Fedor and Anastasia. Yes, we're partnering. We're trying to be really on the cutting edge here of these new devices, these new technologies, all geared towards increasing independence and self-determination. So thank you for your work. And thank you to you all for joining here today. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to continue to do more of these. We hope anybody who joined by Teletown Hall appreciated that experience. If you'd like to be added to that list so that all you literally have to do is answer the phone and stay on the line, there's a way to opt into that. So just let us know. You can reach us any way, phone, email, through our website, whatever works for you best. So Carla, are we going to see the videos on the way out here?
We are going to share our videos, Commissioner, and I also wanted to just let everyone know about the future date for our next town hall is going to be on Thursday, October the 7th at noon. And we have several virtual events that you heard about today. Between now and then, including independent living hour events bi-weekly on Tuesday afternoons, as well as music events that are also bi-weekly on Wednesday afternoons for children and families. So please get in touch with your counselor if you are interested in any of those opportunities. And we look forward to continuing to connect virtually during this time. And if you have additional questions today that we weren't able to get to, please again send an email to mcbinfo@mass.gov and reach out. We will hope to get you some answers to your questions and connect you to the right team member to discuss your inquiry. But you can also reach us via phone at 1-800-392-6450. Sign up for emails from us. An e-newsletter will be going out later this month. You can opt in for those emails at mass.gov/MCB. And the phone opt-in notifications, you can opt in for those as well on the website, like the commissioner mentioned. That's mass.gov/MCB. And so anyone that needs to get back to work, please, we thank you for joining us today, but that anyone that is able to stay with us, we are happy to share the videos from our partners at WhereWorks and For Blind. We'll start with WhereWorks here with Keith Kirkland. Thank you, Keith.
Of course. Thank you so much.
We've been utilizing vision for so many things in our life. We just can't be watching something all the time. So we're trying to even take a small portion of this visual information, trying to convert it into a more intuitive system.
The team meets in Central Park to test the prototype.
3, 2, go. The way the Wayband works is it creates a virtual corridor just slightly wider than a human by plotting the route using GPS coordinates and machine learning, and then through haptic feedback it ensures you always stay within this virtual corridor. Let's go to the right a little bit. That's the right thing. Oh, good. The way you know you're actually in the corridor is you get no feedback. If you get no haptic vibrations, that means you're going in the right direction, everything's fine. As soon as you step out of the corridor, you then get a little haptic notification to say, oh, it's gone wrong, step back into the corridor. Do you feel nothing right now? Nothing. Perfect.
Ultimately, these haptic corridors will be created based on millions of data points collected by people using the Wayband. Based on their feedback, the Wayband will offer up the safest, most convenient route. Unlike regular GPS, the route is highly precise, alerting you if you deviate within just a few feet.
Think of Waze for pedestrians. Waze reads what other users are doing, so you can get the most effective route. But as a blind person, I want the least traffic route. So imagine an intelligent navigation device.
Norman. So my initial opinions of the device are that it's got such incredible amounts of promise. Whenever I'm walking down the street, it feels like that I have an extra pair of eyes on me that are helping me navigate, not to get too far to the left, not to get too far to the right, and then also to help me know whenever I'm coming up to a street that I'm getting feedback from the device that is vibrating and telling me if I need to go left or right. It's really quite incredible. I can see a lot of application for this device just with myself. I'm traveling around the country all the time. I'm always in new environments, and I may not know those new environments very well, and I could definitely see how this would help me navigate. Whenever I first put this on, within just a block or two of walking, I was starting to figure out the different vibration patterns and how to interpret those. So I feel like it's a very intuitive device.
People have been consulting me and giving me incredible amounts of feedback on how to develop the right product for the blind and visually impaired market. So they're completely invaluable to what we're doing today and developing our company.
All right, thank you
All right,
so
Keith,
much.
thank you.
And now, Commissioner, how about we will share the video from our partners at For Blind.
Great.
And I'm a CAO for Blind company. Our engineering startup create innovative and unique devices for blind and deafblind people. Our mission is to help people socialize and improve well-being through technologies. Today, we would like to present you an important and significant product for deafblind people. We have created this device that allows totally deafblind person to speak with synthesized voice and give ability to hear another people. Andrew Diver, the head of product development and improvement department, tell how this works.
To begin to speak, the user just needs to hold the communicator and type message using the 6-key keyboard, and a special program synthesizes them into voice. In order a deafblind user could hear you, you just need to start speaking. The program will instantly recognize your speech and transmit your words to the user in the form of silent vibrations. What is important to note, this device meets COVID-19 condition because it can significantly reduce physical contact during communication. Let's take a look how a deafblind person uses the communicator.
I'd like to talk to you. Press the green button to talk. Press the red button to refuse to talk.
Good afternoon.
You wanted to say good afternoon. Press the green button to talk. Press the red button to refuse. Good afternoon. I am glad to meet you.
Our goal is to make society stop talking about disabilities and talk about additional needs. At the moment, we are working on this together with MCB, and my colleague Anastasia Malachova, Chief Operating Officer, tell about this.
Together with MCB, we prepared our device to the US market. We got some insights into American market and also assistance in introduction of our device to the community and program that helps deafblind people. For our company, support of MCB is very important because it makes us confident.
We believe this is invention really important and really necessary for world. We are sure that among a deafblind person, many engineers, poets, and just good people. And they have opportunity to talk, hear, learn, work, and just live. We are here to change this world. And we are looking for people who want and ready to create the future with us. And we want to find the people who want help us to back millions of people to the world.
All right, terrific. Thank you, Fedor and Anastasia. Thank you, Keith, and your team as well. So we're trying our best for you here at MCB to innovate for our consumers, for our staff, and for the community. So hope you appreciate that. Thank you again for joining us here today. Great job. Big thumbs up to all my team for putting this together. All of our interpreters and everybody else in the stakeholder community who made this happen. We appreciate you. Please stay safe during these challenging times. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.